Welcome to Badminton Unlimited, your weekly access to badminton action and beyond. This week, we catch up with Mauritius's top women's singles player, Kate Foukoun, as she tells us about the challenges of playing badminton in her country. And we report on the development of badminton in Ecuador. An athlete's pursuit for sporting excellence, more often than not, begins with those close to them. Family especially plays a vital role, not just laying the foundation, but also driving professionals towards their goals. For Mauritius's women's singles #1, Kate Foukoun, this is certainly the case. Growing up in a badminton-mad household helped pave the African badminton champions' path into the sport.
My whole family is a badminton family. I was brought up in badminton. I fell in love with the sport, and I made the decision to make it my whole life and to train hard every day and to just give everything to it. And I've given so much already now that it's become so special, and I can't look back.
We caught up with Kate at a recent training camp in Indonesia, where she took some time off to share her journey with us. Her mother, herself a former player, introduced Kate to the sport as a way to handle her hyperactivity as a child.
She used badminton to channel my energy somewhere else. So she just used to take a shuttle, put it on a string, and she attached it in the garage, and then she just gave me a racket and made me hit the shuttle the whole day just to make my energy go away. So that's how I started. And obviously, because my sister also played, she went to the Olympics, and my parents played, and that's how they met. So we are a badminton family, and I also have to play.
The lefty's talent quickly became apparent after she began competing and winning junior tournaments. 2008 saw her first inclusion into the national team, but she wasn't making the necessary progress. With most Mauritian youths choosing studies over sport, finding quality sparring partners proved difficult. Kate was studying for a degree, but was determined to excel in badminton also. In a bid to do both, Kate made the tough decision to move to Europe in 2012.
In Mauritius, it's so small that we only have a national team, and there's not a lot of training outside the national team because obviously there's not enough players, not enough coaches, not enough resources. I really had to juggle between training and school at the same time without any help in the beginning. But in the end, I got some help, thankfully. But it was still really hard because I was the only person doing this, juggling, even though the school let me. But it was really hard to catch up on all the classes I missed. When I moved to France, it was a different style, a different way of thinking, a different way. Everything was different, and I really liked this style.
Her new surroundings have given the islander the boost she needed, and her results have been improving. Last year, Kate notched her first senior title at the African Badminton Championships.
It's really hard to describe how we feel, but it was really good to know that I won and then that I also moved forward. I'm a hard worker. I'm not the kind that was gifted with a really good hand or really good technique. I had to learn everything, but I think my biggest strength is that I'm a runner on the court. I get most of the shuttles and I make a lot of rallies, and I don't get easily surprised.
2014 also saw Kate thrust into the international limelight as she was given the privilege of carrying her country's flag at the Commonwealth Games held in Glasgow.
We don't have a lot of sportsmen, but I was still honored because there were still some other really good sportsmen, and I was picked out of all of them. So I felt really proud stepping onto the athletic stadium with the whole crowd, with the camera just fixing me. Felt really, really good, and yeah, it's one of the best moments.
Earlier this month, she continued to build on her achievements. At the Indian Ocean Island Games, she helped Mauritius to the team gold, whilst she finished on top of the podium herself. The team and her individual success have helped raise the profile of the sport in her country.
The Indian Ocean Games is the most important tournament in the country, and so being able to represent it and get a few gold medals is really important for me, even if I don't get any points out of it. So for me, it was important to carve out a bit of time to be with my teammates, to really make my country proud, make other people that don't know badminton yet know about badminton, know about all the benefits of sports, and just encourage sports, encourage badminton in Mauritius.
The one disappointment of winning the Indian Ocean Island Games is that it doesn't offer any points towards the Rio Olympics, but not that Kate is disheartened. With the emphasis on equal representation from all 5 continents, her place at the Summer Games looks almost certain. But she's determined to be there by merit, even if it means a tough playing schedule ahead.
Plays a lot of course, Pan America tournaments, Africa tournaments, and some tournaments in Europe. Try to get as much points as possible, and of course, what's really important for me is to play well. I don't want to go to the Olympics without deserving to go to the Olympics. That's really important for me. Mauritian badminton player is really hard. We don't get brought up where we get a really good coach that teaches us good techniques. Everything has to be done by ourselves. But then, if we are really strong in our heads, and if we really know what we want, then we'll be able to make it.
Kate Fukun embodies the spirit of badminton: hard work, determination, and focus. As Mauritius badminton continues to grow, there is no better person to represent that growth.
Japanese food, because sushi is amazing and I love barbecue eel. The Maldives, because it's so beautiful. I love the white sand, and it's like you're stranded on an island and it feels awesome. My favorite movie is Avengers, because I really like Iron Man and I love superheroes. It would be Roger Federer, because he's my sport idol and he's so good at tennis, and I look up to him as an athlete. One thing I would take along with me would be some sort of food. Probably sushi.
Time to test your badminton knowledge. We want you to name the first European player to win gold in badminton at the Olympic Games. We give you the answer after the break. We're in Ecuador after the break to report on the progress of the sport in the country. Before the break, we asked you to name the first European player to win gold in badminton at the Olympic Games. The answer is Poul Erik Høyer. The Danish shuttler clinched the men's singles gold at the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games after beating China's Dong Jiang in the final. It was Høyer's proudest moment as he became the first and still the only player outside of Asia to win an Olympic gold in badminton. The Great Dane now spearheads the development of the sport worldwide in his role as president of the Badminton World Federation. Last year, the BWF president was elected into the International Olympic Committee, and his position as an IOC member will strengthen badminton's position within the Olympic movement. Football has dominated South American culture ever since its arrival on the continent in the mid-1800s. South American nations have won 9 of the 20 FIFA Football World Cup titles and have produced 2 of the most transcendent players of all time in Pelé and Diego Maradona. With its long-standing football history and successes on the global stage, it is easy to understand why the sport is the most dominant on the continent.
Football is the most important sport. Everyone wants to own a football. They only want to be on the field and play football.
Although football is referred as the people's game, there are other sports quietly thriving in South America. One such is badminton. Badminton Unlimited was in Ecuador, a country located on the west coast of South America, to learn more about badminton in their country and the challenges they face in developing the sport.
Since the Federation's formation over 10 years ago, the President is appointed by the Sports Committee. I took charge a year and a half ago, and I'm the first President that is democratically elected by the various badminton associations. This, we believe, directly serves our badminton interests more efficiently. Our biggest challenge is to get enough resources to actively grow the sport. Though the government provides some funding, we need more, and we are constantly sourcing for support and sponsors.
The recent structural changes in the Ecuador Badminton Federation have seen a positive effect on the future of the sport in the country. One of the first steps was to enlist a foreign coach to help raise the national team's level. Former Spanish mixed doubles national champion Manuela Diaz arrived earlier this year to lead the national side.
My aim is to get the players better at playing badminton, and I want them to see their improvement with good results. I want them to enjoy competing, and I hope the players will enjoy the sport as much as I did.
With the development of the sport still in its infancy, the national team is made up of mostly junior players. Although the young are ideal for grooming, it presents a challenge when building a strong team for participation in international events such as the Sudirman Cup.
The biggest challenge is that the players are not at the same level. Some just started playing the sport, so it becomes difficult during training as the players' needs can be very different. So I need to get all the players at the same level first. Then I can move forward with better training and more advanced regimes. This way, the older players can get better and the younger ones will not be left behind.
Despite the obstacles, badminton in Ecuador is slowly making progress. Maria Delia Zambrano grabbed bronze in the women's singles at the South American Youth Games 2 years ago. This year, together with elder brother Emilio, they were Ecuador's only representatives in badminton at the recently concluded Pan Am Games in Toronto.
The important thing is our participation. I want to learn from the experience that I've gained from the Pan Am Games. We need to keep training and improving and continue to gain exposure by playing in more international tournaments.
They have gained valuable experience at the Pan Am Games because they have played against very good players. This will help them a lot. Not only will the experience inspire them, it will also help them become better players. The more they compete at higher levels, the more the players will learn. This will help them in future competitions.
With a modest squad of about 10 players, the Federation also recognizes the need to grow its numbers. Ecuador held its first BWF shuttle time in the city of Guayaquil earlier this year at the National Training Center. Through the Teachers and Tutors course, 21 participants were certified as teachers and 8 were accredited as tutors. It is hoped that the newly qualified badminton instructors can introduce the sport to school children throughout the country.
Currently, we have 2 schools in Guayaquil, with 1 teacher in each school and only one teacher in Quito teaching badminton to the children. Now that we'll have more teachers to introduce and play badminton in schools, we'll eventually have more players. Hopefully, with the help of the Olympic Committee and more shuttle time, we can grow the sport further.
Although badminton in South America does not get the sort of attention and support football receives, Ecuador badminton is a fine example of how a less established sport is making its presence felt. Badminton is slowly but surely gaining a foothold in the country. After the break, we find out more about a badminton summer camp in Macau that is helping develop the sport in the country. Let's find out how badminton is doing in other parts of the world. This week, we receive a postcard from Kazakhstan.
Hi everyone, my name is Arthur Niyazov. I'm playing for national team of Kazakhstan. The famous in my country, this is, I think, mountains. We have a lot of mountain and good weather and a lot of rivers and lakes. And our country taking 9th place by territory in the world. I say about little geography. Territory very big, but population around 17 million people in our country. For this moment, yeah, a lot of players play, young players play badminton because we already introduced this sport for many schools in our city and our country. Now, level in Kazakhstan more better. Maybe some international tournament we can take gold medal or can go to semi-final. But on high tournaments like Super Series or Olympic or World Championship, we just can try our best because still very difficult to take the medal. For me, like for myself, I want to qualify to Olympic Games in 2016. If I can qualify, I can show for our government and for our people that the badminton is also can be popular and can have future in international level. They need more give sponsorship and everything for this sport to young players, to give them more tournaments and equipment and good sparring partners for the future.
Summer holidays have come to the island of Macau. All seemed quiet on campus at the University of Macau as students took time off from their studies to enjoy the extended break. But whilst there was not the usual youthful chatter along the corridors, it wasn't completely still. The sound of energetic feet and the swish of rackets could be heard echoing throughout the building. The source? The first badminton summer training camp organized by the Badminton Federation of Macau as part of their initiative to develop the sport among the young in the country. The participants, aged 9 to 12 years old, were selected from various badminton clubs across the island.
For the past years, we had been organizing overseas training camps for the older kids who are 13 years old and above. This time, we are very fortunate to partner with the University of Macau. We use their well-facilitated campus as a training venue and also their hostel to house the kids. It is a very good opportunity to let the younger kids experience training camps.
Participants paid a nominal fee, whilst most of the other expenses were covered by the Federation, with the university sponsoring the venue and lodging. The 9-day camp, which concluded recently, had two parts. Firstly, it aimed to teach the fundamentals of badminton to the children, and secondly, to equip them with life skills essential not only as athletes, but also as productive members of society.
We want the kids to learn to be independent and cope with the daily chores without their parents by their side. They had to learn to manage their time, do their own laundry, bathe and so on. We want to let them experience the life of a professional sportsman, life away from home. In this camp, kids also learned to make friends and got to know their fellow campmates, the importance of teamwork and experience the joy of helping other people.
The children's schedule was packed with activities throughout the day. The morning session was dedicated to physical fitness, while the afternoons focused on drills and skills training.
There are a total of 22 kids in this camp. As the level of their skills is different, we put them into different groups. As some of them have only very basic knowledge, we had to group the kids accordingly. The coaches are divided into two groups. One group looks after the older kids, whose skills ability is higher, so the intensity and skills training are tougher.
But the camp was not only about badminton. Academics also played an important role, as the children were given time off to do their homework. And what better way to get that tedious schoolwork done than out in the open under the summer sky. Besides the children, the camp was also a platform for the local coaches to put into practice what they had been taught in the courses provided by the Badminton Asia Confederation.
The BAC coach is here to observe how our coaches carry out the training plans. Our coaches have attended a BAC course. The aim of the course was to improve the standard of badminton in Macau. They are to apply what they have learned to these training sessions. He will grade the coaches based on how they have incorporated Macau's badminton culture into the new training method. So his main role here is to give comments to the coaches, help them improve, and also to grade them on their performances.
Badminton in Macau has made some major strides. Initially a social sport and a way to get fit, it has now developed a strong competitive arm. The country has a national team and has ambitions to match the achievements of its neighboring island, Hong Kong. But to maintain its growth, it must increase and replenish its talent pool.
We did find a few potential players. We will submit a report to the association recommending them for the Macau team. We might invite them back again to train with the team for a short period so that we can continue to observe them.
The badminton summer training camp has been successful in reaching a generation who are usually more interested in computer screens than sporting pursuits.
I've learned to be independent and how to get along with other people. I learned the importance of playing with consistency and the right footwork.
My physical fitness has improved. As for my skills, I have learned to be more precise with my net play and also learned the correct footwork.
I feel the success of the camp is not measured by the kids' progress, but through their happy faces.
Whether these young participants will one day represent Macau on the international arena, only time will tell. But one thing is for certain, the inaugural summer training camp has been a success in the eyes of the children and their parents. And it looks like it's going to be an annual affair. Get connected with us. Log on to these websites for videos and photos and get the latest news and information on all things badminton. Missed an episode of Badminton Unlimited? Or perhaps you just want to catch your favorite episode again? You can do so at your convenience on our YouTube channel. All the best badminton clips are just a click away. Let's find out what's happening on the international circuit in our Badminton Unlimited calendar. Next week on Badminton Unlimited, we speak to India's former men's singles star Anup Sridhar about his new adventures in mixed doubles with Arathi Sarah Sunil.